Alright, here we are for round two. Started off 1-0, and we're on the play again. This hand is pretty slow. No 2-drops, unfortunately. Also, our third land comes into play tapped. So I don't like this hand, but it feels hard to ship it back because we have some powerful cards. Tireless Trackers are going to need more lands to be good. Nissa will help us find more land, so I think we're fine. We're hoping to draw a 2-drop though. So we can play Canopy Vista and then hope to draw a Plains or a Forest. So this comes in untapped on turn 3, or we can play the Fortified Village and hope that we draw a basic so that our Canopy Vista is untapped on turn 3. We have 7 basics, and every one of those basics is a Plains or a Forest. So every basic turns on the Canopy Vista and the Fortified Villages. Plus, we also have some more dual lands that turn on the Fortified Village, so it's a higher percent chance that we draw an untapped. It's a higher percent chance that we draw a card that will allow us to play the Fortified Village untapped than it is the Canopy Vista. I'm not counting the Evolving Wilds because that doesn't help us with a untapped source. If we draw an Evolving Wilds on the next turn, then we could get a basic, and then we'd have another basic island, and then we'd be able to play the Canopy Vista on turn 4. Yeah, so that's what happened here, but it doesn't really change our plays now. Because we can play this, get an untapped basic, or get a tapped basic, play the island, still have our untapped 3 mana, and then play Fortified Village tapped on turn 4, which is fine. And I think I'm actually going to get a waste here. We already have 2 white and 2 green sources. We're going to get another forest anyway. So, drawing the Evolving Wilds means that we might have a turn 4 tap land instead of a turn 4 Canopy Vista. But it made it more likely that we would have a turn 3 untapped land by playing the Canopy Vista first. Right, so now we just search up a forest. If our opponent has Dromoka's command, yeah, our Nissa's going to bite the dust, but I'd rather wait to play Tireless Tracker when we can actually play land and get some value out of it right away. Ooh, company. That seems even better. This looks like the mirror. Taking the damage here because if we try to make any blocks, it's probably going to be bad for us against a Dromoka's command anyway. So I'd rather take the damage and then collect a company end of turn. That's a lot of Dromoka's commands going to the bottom of our library. It's something to pay attention to. We have a couple of tireless trackers, but can you really have too many? Since we have all these tireless trackers, I don't think we need the clue from the Thraben Inspector. We're going to have more clues than we know what to do with. So I'm going to take the two biggest creatures here. One reason to take the Inspector is just to be able to play it this turn and hold up Ojutai's Command, but I don't think we need to hold up Ojutai's Command since we don't have much to do with our mana. If our opponent doesn't play a creature and they just hold up Company, it's pretty bad for us, so I'd rather play Tireless Tracker, make a couple clues, and then we can pop those. Oh, that was a mistake. I needed to play the Fortified Village so I could have it come in untapped. Opponent conceded the game. I guess they just didn't have an answer for the Tireless Trackers and they didn't feel like trying to grind it out. Our opponent has to be playing the Humans version as well because that's the only version that plays the Pacifist. So on the draw in the mirror, bringing in all the removal, Declaration Stone, Command is probably staying in. Depends what our opponent's sideboard plan is. If they're playing Lenvala, then Ojutai's Command is good, but for now I'm going to take it out. I like to take out a Duskwatch Recruiter because we have so much to do with our mana already, and one Tireless Tracker. When we're just going on the ground, we want some card advantage engines, but like most of our cards are card advantage engines anyway. So just building up like a giant Tireless Tracker isn't necessarily going to win us the game because we're going to be in a ground stall anyway. So I want the removal to be able to clear the way, and Den Protector also as a way to... Hey, wait a second. No. That's right. Dromoka's Command also I want out. Yes. So Duskwatch Recruiter stays in. Sorry, I'm just consulting my notes from some of my previous leagues. I take out the Dromoka's commands on the draw for sure because we're not necessarily going to be able to stick a creature to be able to use them. Dromoka's commands, Tireless Tracker, and then the Ojutai's command are out. So that's 6 cards out. And then Declaration, Planar Outburst, the Sigarda comes in, and then the Den Protectors as well. I probably would like the second Den Protector, but I'm not sure what to take out for it. It could do a Duskwatch Recruiter, could do a Thalia's Lieutenant. I don't want to go too light on company targets, so I think we started with 26. We took out only one. We brought in, this is a bad hit, but it's still a hit, so we still have 26 hits. I do want the second Den Protector. It's good to get back, any of our removal spells, or get back a Nissa, for example. I think I'll take out... I'll take out a Thraben Inspector. I mean, it seems... It's hard for that to be too wrong. Okay, this hand is pretty slow. We hope to draw an untapped source, but it's got a lot of good spells. Our mana will work itself out eventually. These are the kind of hands that are a little awkward, but this deck is going to see this a lot, where the mana is kind of sketchy and you're not able to curve out as well as you'd like. But the power level of the individual cards helps you come back from that sometimes. Our opponent's mulliganing to 6 anyway, so hopefully we don't get hit with too aggressive of a start here. again, we have all of our basics plus some of the dual lands that would allow us to play the Fortified Village untapped next turn. So I'd rather play that. Okay, this is going to be tapped. Hopefully we draw a third land. If not, we always have Declaration to buy us some time, and we have a number of 2-drops here, so we'll at least be playing spells. Right, Reflector Mage is the land was a great draw there because we can Reflector Mage. Buys us some time against this Tireless Tracker, and this also goes to show you why the Dromoka's command is not very good on the draw. We wouldn't have been able to deal with that Tireless Tracker. Alright, company here, I'm assuming. I think we just play... We don't have mana to activate Displacer, but we also don't have lands to trigger the Tireless Tracker, so neither is a great play. Displacer blocks a little bit better, so I'm just going to play that. Wow, no company. Our opponent's hand has not been very good. Okay. Yeah, it's not great. So if our opponent cracks a clue, it becomes a 4-3. I think we just have to Declaration this Tireless Tracker. We're not going to be able to run through it. And they're going to get a lot of advantage if it stays in play. So they're going to be up on us in mana. We have the same number of cards in hand, but at this point in the game, whoever gets to use the most mana every turn really gets to pull ahead. So the fact that we're ahead on board really doesn't mean a whole lot. We're going to get in some damage, but it's not going to be enough to kill our opponent. We're going to need to draw lands to keep up. Okay, another Tireless Tracker. I've seen worse things, and we drew an Evolving Wilds, which is great with our Tireless Tracker. We can attack with both. I don't mind a trade here. Our opponent would have to trade off the Tireless Tracker. So I'm okay with that. If our opponent blocks, then Dromoka's command is heinous for them, so they probably won't block anyway. They do block. Alright, yeah, I'm fine with this, whatever. Tireless Tracker is a pretty big threat, so... And we'll get a waste, that way we can activate our Displacer. We don't have a second green source, so maybe getting a forest was better there. It's not like we're going to be spending our mana activating Displacer anyway. We have so many other things to do, so I probably should have gotten a forest. Yeah, we will take the damage here. Okay. Right, I'm going to go ahead and assume that our opponent has a company this time. They don't have Avacyn mana up. We can flip our Den Protector to get back Declaration in stone. Question is whether we attack here or not. I think not. I'm just going to use all our mana, play a Displacer, play a Pacifist. just maximizing Thalia Lieutenant's enter the battlefield effect by emptying our hand here and stockpiling the clues for later. So we caught up to our opponent on mana. Like I said, that's really what the game is about in these mid-turns. So us getting up to 5 mana, our opponent up to 5 mana. But we have so much to do. Now, our opponent has 7 cards in hand, but they haven't been really doing much each turn, whereas we've been tapping out and developing our board. That's pretty good. We can play this Lieutenant and then keep the Displacer activation up. And at this point, I think we just jam with everything. Alright, we're going to be losing the Displacer, so keeping Reflector Mage around isn't as important. If we could keep the 2 of them, then we'd want to be able to keep that combo on board. But as is, I think I just let damage happen here. I don't want to play the Reflector Mage without being able to flip it in the same turn. So I think I'm going to play second Pacifist. That combat didn't work out great, but it wasn't horrific for us. Just trying to decide if it was right for us to attack the way we did or not. I mean, I think I'm still pretty happy with our board position, so I think I'm happy with the attack. All right, second white source comes down for the opponent, so we have to watch out for Avacyn in future turns. Also, Tragic Arrogance, or Planar Outburst, or whatever our opponent is playing. Linvala, like any of those sideboard cards could be coming down in the future. I want to play the Evolving Wilds to be able to get our mana online, but it's unfortunate that we can't play Tireless Tracker this turn. We could just Den Protector back Declaration in Stone, which we know will be good on our opponent's board. And there's just so many options every turn with this deck. Even though we're missing out on clues, I think we want to play the Evolving Wilds. I mean, we have a bunch of clues already, so not that big a deal to miss out there. And I will play the Den Protector. Now, whether we want to get back Declaration or Eldrazi Displacer, we'll decide that later. Declaration is good in the short term, but Displacer is really a huge trump in the mirror. We have Thalia's Lieutenant to combo with it. I think getting Displacer back is more important. Ooh, Company. Can play Duskwatch Recruiter. And I think we'll just save this Company to play end of turn. We'll wait on the Displacer until we have, I was going to say until we have less to do with our mana, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen. But I think we can develop our board a little bit before we start activating Displacer. Alright, we let this resolve. I never bring in counterspells in this matchup, but I don't know if our opponent would. It's possible that we want to just play the Collected Company now. But I don't really want to Reflector Mage any of these things anyway. So I think we can just let this resolve, let our opponent go to a combat step, see if they want to attack, and then Collected Company either in combat or at the end of their turn. This indicates, I was going to say it indicated an Avacyn, but the fact that they're only attacking with one thing probably does not. 2 Planar Bursts at the bottom of our deck. So if we want those at some point, we'll have to shuffle. We can bounce the Knight, I suppose. Question is if we want to block. I think we can block the 2 6/6 Reflector Mages. If our opponent has Dromoka's Command, they can blow us out a bit. Yeah, so I guess I don't even want to block. I was going to say it might be worth it to get our opponent to play the Dromoka's Command, but I don't think it actually is. If they had Dromoka's Command there, though, they would have just fought the Thalia's Lieutenant, so it looks like they do not have it. And Tragic Arrogance taking our clues away is pretty bad. Put Thalia's Lieutenant here first so that the Pacifist can attack. But I'm playing it before the Duskwatch Recruiter because I want the Thalia's Lieutenant to grow also. We can play Duskwatch Recruiter and then crack a clue. I still want to draw more lands so that we can get this tireless tracker going again. Sure. They must have just drawn the Jiroka's command. Well, no, they had Tragic Arrogance last turn, so I guess they didn't need to fight the Lieutenant. Okay. Reflector Mage is good, but it really isn't getting them ahead here. It's just buying them some time. Okay, now they're getting ahead. Ooh, Declaration is a great draw. So how do we want to do this? We're definitely playing Declaration Stone, so that's 2 mana, and then we have 4 mana left. We can play a Displacer and an Inspector. Or instead of playing Displacer, we could actually just dig with the Duskwatch Recruiter. I actually like that better. Or do I? I don't think I do. I think I just want to get on board. Our opponent's got some more clues now, so if we give them more time, they get to dig for more. Card advantage. If we just put them under pressure here, they're at 5, so I'd rather just do that. Okay. We got Declaration. Sure. I feel like we're still ahead, but these games are pretty swingy. We have a lot of resources. Our opponent has a lot of resources. They have a tireless tracker. We have a tireless tracker. So at some point, you end up putting a lot of pressure on board, and you both usually have a bunch of cards in hand, a bunch of resources left. So we'll see who's able to pressure the other first. Company. That could do it. How many Reflector Mages do we have left? We've used 2. We also have Thalia's Lieutenants to hit. We've used 2 of those. Now we have Sagrada and our 2-planar outburst towards the bottom. Alright, our opponent conceded there. I don't think our opponent was dead, but we're going to be able to attack for quite a bit of damage there. Alright, we did it. We're able to outgrind in the mirror. So we played against green-white so far and Bant humans, which are both good matchups to test, and we came out ahead. On to game 3, or match 3.